Alrighty, welcome everybody. This is Michael, and this is going to be just a quick walkthrough of what I've done so far on my POI that I'm trying to build myself. This is the first time I've ever tried to build a POI, so I'm having fun learning how to use the prefab editor. I seem to be getting a hang of it. So this POI is primarily based off the movie The Name of the Rose, which starred Sean Connery and Christian Slater, one of his earlier roles. It's basically a medieval period movie about a monk who's played by Sean Connery, who's kind of a detective, sort of like a cat file type character who is investigating some mysterious happenings in the abbey itself. One of the big scenes in the movie itself is the library scene, which is basically a labyrinth of towers and stairs, and they get lost very easily on there. And so this entire thing is kind of inspired on that. This right here is just the library. I am going to be calling this POI the Rose Abbey. I can't remember exactly what the name of the abbey is that this was based off of, but I think it's appropriate since it is inspired by the name of the rose. And unfortunately, with the movie, it's difficult to kind of match everything because they shot at various different locations. So the exterior is one location, the interior was a set they built themselves, and a whole bunch of other places. So I've tried to combine the best of all of them in order to try to get the same sort of ambience and mood. So this is basically what it's at. It's basically 9 towers kind of set up in a grid, all with all basically the same size. Each tower has 5 levels, so you have a total of 45 rooms, all basically the same size and dimension. But what makes this a challenge is that the stairs and walkways are an absolute maze. I get vertigo really bad in real world as well as in games, and building this thing has just had my nerves completely on edge. I've been sweating bullets just trying to build this stuff. When I'm in the fly mode, I'm fine, but if I'm actually on the walking mode and going across all this sort of stuff, my body is just entirely tensed up. Oh, so this is the ground floor. I've been kind of trying to, gussy it up and get it kind of, interesting looking. It was just this plain granite ground, so I've thrown in some dirt piles and just regular rubbish. I'm not going to try to put any of the modern rubbish in, with the garbage bags and boxes and stuff like that. Try to keep this as period as possible. It's going to be difficult with some of the pre-made objects, but we'll muddy our way through. I still have one section, this darker section that I haven't really completed yet. I need to get some of these entryways connected and whatnot. But that's pretty much most everything. Everything else is pretty much done. Right now is the challenge of making sure that every room has some way to get to it. This is not going to be a simple POI to go through because it's just an absolute maze. I get lost all the time. I didn't really set any kind of pattern. I was like, oh, let me just go ahead and throw some stairs here and a path over here. Do I have anything going up here? Let me go ahead and connect it over here. So it's very hodgepodge, and it definitely shows. And I think that's what really makes it an interesting thing to go through. I haven't started, filling in the bookshelves and whatnot. There's going to be a lot of books in here, a lot of bookshelves. Most of I can't just have this full of actual real books that you can have. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of paper you're going to be getting out of here as well. So let me kind of go through it. I get very nervous when I'm walking through this because my vertigo gets triggered pretty easily. So I'm going to kind of go through this very slowly and just kind of show you how. And there's missing railings. There's a couple places where you're going to have to leap across to get to the next area. So it is a bit nerve-wracking to say the least. I have a hard time doing this sort of stuff. But again, this is basically the rooms that are throughout the entire POI. So you got room for bookshelves and all that sort of stuff, and you can have some of them, set up as offices or studies or whatnot. There will be an additional portion to this, kind of in the exterior that's attached to this, which will be the scriptorium where all the monks would have been doing all their writing and illumination and whatnot. I haven't quite figured out. There will be kind of a secret entrance in that in order to get into here, same as how the movie is set up. So I have to work that out. Again, the movie doesn't really show you everything, so I'm kind of have to play it by ear. Let me just go ahead and pop into the fly mode here, and just kind of buzz around the area. So like I said, it's 5 stories or 5 levels high on each tower. They don't match up, so they're kind of at different heights and whatnot to make things more interesting. That helps kind of make these stairways even more random. If they're all on the same level, it would be kind of boring, so I tried to get it as randomized as possible. Now there will be a treasure room in here that's supposed to have the heretical and forbidden texts that the monks had locked away to keep it safe from the world. That will be kind of the end treasure. I'm still learning how to make POIs, so this is all very new to me. So I'm kind of playing it by ear. So my next step is, again, I still have this one corner that I need to finish up over here. I think it is get that fleshed out with the rest of the walkways, and then I'll start decorating, laying in the bookshelves and working out where the zombies are going to spawn out and all that sort of stuff. As far as the exterior, it's kind of plain right now. Let me turn up the daylight here. Let me get back my HUD here, and we'll get some daylight here. It's kind of plain right now. I have been kind of working on getting the facade a little bit more interesting. So it's I've already kind of started on this side to distress it, knock out some blocks and replace it with other materials just to give it a more of an aged and non-uniform look. I had also started playing with a different kind of version, a more compact one, but I put the poll on Facebook to see what people would prefer, and they seem to prefer this one over this one. I still kind of like this one. It's a little bit more claustrophobic, but you don't have those such wide and long walkways that make it bone raising, hair raising. I may do something similar to this, maybe a little bit bigger. I'm going to play around with it. I do like the exterior of this one better because it has a little more interest to it. I may try to maybe do something kind of in between these two sizes that has kind of the exterior features of this, but the interior features of this. The interiors are kind of laid out slightly different. So these are the towers that I use as my template. You can see there. I just basically would raise the floor up an additional level to get these, different sizes and whatnot. So yeah, this is it's coming on really fun. I'm having a fun time doing this. Aside from my vertigo getting all triggered out, this is going to be an interesting. And I'm actually planning on doing the entire Abbey, which is a fairly large complex. That's not only going to have this library, the scriptorium. It'll have the large cathedral. It's going to have pigsties and dog kennels and barns, kitchens and all that sort of stuff. So it's going to be a fairly large POI. I don't know how this would work as a quest if he would do I don't know. See, that's one thing I need to do some research on. I don't know if you can do different quests within the same POI. So like have one quest would be, a clear and fetch just for the library. Another quest be to clear out the cathedral or the scriptorium or something like that. I don't think you can do that. I think you have to kind of do it all as one. So I don't really know what level I would probably have this set at. Just as complex as this place, I'd at least make it a level 4. But if you encompass the entire Abbey, that would be a lot. So I really don't know. I'll have to get online and see if anybody can have any kind of recommendations on how to set this up. Again, I'm still learning all this, so it might be a while before this actually gets put up. So this is my monster that I'm building. It's probably not the best project for a first-time POI build, but go big or go home, I guess. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me. Hope you can stay tuned and keep track of this. If you like, please leave a comment. I'd like to hear what you think of this. and if you might have any recommendations or advice on how to do this sort of stuff. So thank you guys for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.